I think I get into too many things. Like today, I was doing my car audio, DSP for the car. Just because I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of DSP lately, and I said, you know what? Let me go and redo the car and see if I can do it better now, knowing what I
Right.
know. And so I tried some different things. I showed you a picture, Aaron.
Yeah.
The tricky thing about a car is sometimes you say something and it doesn't make sense at the moment, and later on it makes sense. So I think I
Yeah.
remember asking you like, so something about directivity in the car, and you're just like in the car, it's just like you're always like
Yeah. Everything's
it's
early
different.
reflections. Everything's a
Everything's a reflection,
baffle.
right?
Yeah. Everything's a baffle. Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're just
Car is a
always
complete
near field, but inside of this weird
right.
thing.
Yeah. And you're asymmetric and you got one closer to you and the other one further away. And you're off axis further from one versus the other. It's a
Yeah.
total nightmare. And that's really where trying to get into nerd stuff is really cool. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I felt like, imagine being inside of a giant horn, but like the worst shape,
Yeah.
like all like a bad shaped horn.
Yeah, a horn with seats in it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what
That's what I mean.
you're doing.
It's like so I remember like the subwoofer talks. People used to say, it's like you're inside of a subwoofer. You've got a subwoofer inside of a subwoofer because you're loading a cabin.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's
it was very
pretty fun
interesting.
stuff.
And what I was trying to do is trying to find out, what's the target curve for this vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Like we talk a lot about target curves because you could EQ it to flat. That's going to sound horrible.
Oh yeah.
You can
It's gonna hurt.
EQ it towards to some, Harman target or something that's made more for like home theater, and that's not
Yeah.
going to sound too great either. And then you end up just kind of like messing around. And I said, you know what? Instead of doing that, I want to find a way to like actually give me the correct curve for this for the car.
Yeah.
And so I ended up just getting a speaker that I knew the measurements of, right? And something with some Clipple data on it. And I just kind of took that measurement, the known measurement, and then I did the measurement in the car to kind of see what changes the vehicle made to it.
Right.
And then I kind of said, okay, well that's what it's doing to it.
That's what your car's. Yeah.
So it was
I've
kind
done
of
the same thing when
yeah.
I bought some tweeters, some ScanSpeak tweeters. I measured them years back, and then I put them in the car because I wanted to see what kind of corner loading the dash was having with the tweeters pushed down in the corners. And it's really interesting. You get a lot of extra gain, so they can actually play lower with the crossover point placed higher than normal. If that makes sense, because you got a lot of natural gain. It's kind of like a subwoofer in a room, so you can bump the crossover up a little bit higher than maybe you would in free space, but they still play lower. So that's the one cool thing about car audio. This question real fast. I'll try to answer this one as quickly as I can. I would say probably at this point, so the Revel F226BE was a very linear on-axis speaker. The Key 3, the Dutch and Dutch 8C are the ones that I think of off the top that are just smooth as silk. But those have DSP built into them, and then you can add additional DSP so you can tweak to your heart's desire.